Sports. Please welcome Joe Brocato, Metro News Sports, in studio. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Hop.
You were at the soccer match yesterday between Marshall and WVU for the Sun Belt Conference Championship. Marshall wins it 3-2. Tell us what happened.
Great scene. I arrived at about 11:30, about 90 minutes before kickoff, and there was already a line of a couple of blocks back of people trying to get in. Now, this was a sold-out match about 5 minutes after the tickets went on sale Thursday, so it was basically just people wanting to get in, not necessarily trying to get a ticket. But tremendous atmosphere and another entertaining match. The first match when they played in Morgantown, West Virginia won 5-2, but both teams were really pushing for goals, end-to-end excitement. This was much the same. Marshall wins 3-2. They get a goal in the 77th minute to eventually win the match. And, just the scene and the environment and the buzz that these two teams have generated based on the success that they've had, it's really impressive to see.
What was different for Marshall in the second match from the first match that contributed to their win?
Yeah, they were much better defensively, particularly in the second half. Now, West Virginia jumped out to a 2-1 lead. They got 2 goals in the first half from Sergio Ors Navarro. But really after that, Marshall kind of tilted the field in their favor. They locked down much better defensively. Did a great job on West Virginia's top 2 scorers in Marcus Caldera and Yutaro Sukada. And really, it was Marshall's match to win in the second half, and they were finally able to get that decisive goal and lock it down in the final couple minutes.
You were here for the first one, and again, that was a dominant. I mean, Marshall brought fans, but that was a dominant WVU atmosphere, and not like anything we have seen previously at a men's soccer match. You talked about the environment briefly. Was it like that there, only the Marshall version?
You had the first attempt at a cheer came up from the WVU supporters who were in one particular section. They tried to get a Let's Go Mountaineer cheer going. It was quickly drowned out by We Are Marshall and Let's Go Herd. But it was great to see the interplay between the two fan bases, and I think everybody who watched it was very appreciative of the efforts and the level of play that was put on display.
What a great rivalry, though, that has cropped up, because these two now national programs. Of course, Marshall has a national championship, but they are national programs. The coaches know each other, have coached together. They're very, very good friends. So what a tremendous rivalry, and what it does for soccer in West Virginia.
Yeah, you mentioned the relationship between Chris Grassi and Dan Stratford, and it was interesting after the game, unprompted by the media, both coaches brought up the possibility of a third meeting at some point in the NCAA tournament. Coach Stratford said that Chris texted me before the quarterfinals, said I would love a rematch in the final. Dan now owes him a text to say I would love a rematch in the final in Louisville as well. Chris Grassi then saying he wants to see them again in the final, make it a rubber match.
That would be awesome.
That would be.
That would be awesome. So how do they get to that? I mean, what happens now for the NCAA?
We'll know about an hour from now, 1 o'clock. The NCAA selection show will start. That's actually where I'm headed right from here. The Mountaineers will gather at the Coliseum. Obviously, Marshall will gather at a facility as well. It looks more and more like Marshall will be the number 1 overall seed. They were number 1 in the coaches poll and number 1 in the RPI coming into the tournament, and they win the tournament. So it looks like Marshall will be number 1, which would give them 3 home matches in Huntington before they would go to the Final Four in Louisville. For West Virginia, it looks like they're probably in the top 8, maybe not the top 4. If you're top 8, you have the right to host 2 home matches, so a little bit of a tougher road. And the men's soccer national tournament, it's unpredictable at times, so seeding and home field really, really do matter, and both of these teams are in very good position.
Would you know today whether they're in opposite brackets?
Yes, the entire bracket will be revealed. It's a 48-team field. Now, if you're a national seed, which obviously West Virginia and Marshall will both be, there's 16 of those. You would get a first-round bye. Your opponent will play on Thursday. You would then play on Sunday. So you'll get a full week of rest. Your opponent will be coming into town on short rest, so that's a major advantage to the host team.
Joe Brocato is with us, Metro News Sports. Let me ask you a couple other things before I let you go. I wanted to talk to you about soccer, but also Marshall's football team got off the schneid on Saturday, beat Georgia Southern. Cole Pennington got the start for Marshall.
Yeah, played very well, and that's a big victory for Marshall to get them, not only to stop the 5-game losing streak, but to get them to 5-5 and 1 win away from becoming bowl eligible. They've got South Alabama coming up this week before Arkansas State comes to Huntington to close out the year. And, despite a month of play, which Marshall probably regrets and did not play their best throughout. They've still got a chance to get into a bowl game, and obviously that's big for the future development of a lot of young players like Pennington to get another month of work leading up to the bowl game.
And for WVU, you were covering high school, but I know you kept track of WVU. That was just the most disappointing and I think surprising performance of the year. You've been around this team all year. The challenge this week is to put that behind them and regroup and try to get a couple of wins here.
Yeah, certainly margin matters. And if you left Norman with a similar result to what you had the last time when you lost on a walk-off field goal, look, I mean, that's one thing. But to have the defense give up 59 points after the defense had a couple of promising performances, that's got to be discouraging. But and I know you've talked about this. Look, you're going to be favored in the final two games. 8-4 is still 8-4, even though probably only one of those wins are against a team that currently has a winning record, and that's Duquesne. Look, there's a chance for West Virginia to save face with their final two games plus a bowl game and put a better finish on a season that has been progress. Maybe not to the level of progress that everybody wants to see, but progress nonetheless.
But, you know, I tell you what and I worry about things. I'm a big WVU fan, and I worry about stuff I have no business worrying about, I guess. But everybody, I'm hearing everybody say, well, you could finish with 8 wins. You know, hang on a second. I mean, you don't know week to week I'm in this league what's going to happen. You don't know because there's a lot of equality from about, you know, about 4 to 14, maybe, or 4 to 12, maybe. There's a lot of equality in there, 4 to 4, and you just don't know. So you can't put those in the bank yet. Yes, you'll be favored, but I would be really cautious about that, frankly.
Yeah, and both those games will be against teams that have no bowl possibilities. Cincinnati and Baylor both eliminated from bowl contention. So you wonder, do they play completely loose? Do some younger guys step in and maybe they, have big impacts? It's hard to tell what they'll see over the final 2 weeks.
All right, Joe Brocato, Metro News Sports. You're going over to the soccer announcement.
Headed over, and 1 o'clock, we'll start to unveil the bracket.
All right, thanks, Joe. Joe Brocato, Metro News Sports.